Okay, so this is the last question.
Okay.
This is from Anwara via Facebook. She says, I'm still at school and deciding where to study. I'd like to work in the music industry but don't know which area yet. Do you think I'd be better off studying something else that's less competitive?
Firstly, that's a great name, Anwara. That's brilliant. So she's at school, deciding where to study, like to work in the music industry, but don't know what area yet. I mean, that's the big thing. Don't know what area yet. I mean, if you're going to go to music college just to work in the music industry, I mean, there's just so many bits of it. There's there's admin jobs, there's creative jobs, there's PR, there's management, and a skill set does come into play. I mean, to be a manager of a band, you have to be a certain type of person because it's a very tough gig. So certain skill sets lead to certain things. There's promotion, there's marketing, there's labels. I mean, it's just it's too vague to say you want to be in the music industry because you can be a performer. I don't know, Anwara might be a singer or might be a musician. So it's too vague because there's too many things in the music industry to just say, I'm going to go and study at a music college so that I can figure something out in the music industry. There's just too much out there. So what you've got to do is, if I were you, is before you choose where to study, I would actually put some work into a bunch of companies, and the way I would do that is I'd get in touch with them on Twitter probably, and I'd say, I'm really excited about my future, and I think I can bring a lot to companies. I just need to figure out where I fit into the music industry. Would I be able to just come down and do a work experience for a couple of days? You don't have to pay me anything. I'll just make tea, I'll watch, if there's downtime, I'll ask questions, and you just get into companies and you just say, and you just watch. Even now, when I look at some of the big companies, I tell you what, I could do that. I would love to do that. I mean, I've got some stuff going on at the moment, which I'm really excited about, but if I didn't, that's something I would just do on a higher level. I would just be approaching some of these guys in social media, the really big guys, and just say, I can definitely bring you value. Yeah. I mean, for Anwara, because she's young, even silly things like, let me tidy up, let me make the tea, let me do the things that will just help. I'll run to the shop and buy your sandwiches. I'll do all of those things. All I want to do is just watch what happens, how it works. I feel like from my experience in business, I could do that on a relatively big scale. I've been directors of companies. So, to be able to go in and just say, let me just watch, let me just figure this out because I can bring value. You do that for a month in different companies, you're going to learn so much stuff. So that's what I would do. I would say, firstly, you need to figure out where in the music industry you're going to go. And I think this applies, very interesting, I think this applies to musicians as well. I think this applies to everybody because the amount of conversations that I have where people don't know what they want. And they're working really hard, and I'm like, it's like you're driving really fast down the road, and I'm like, where are you going? And they go, dunno. And I go, well, I'll tell you where you're going to get to, because where you're going to get to is the way you're heading. And so unless you actually say, that's the place I want to get to, so if you want to get into PR, music PR, for example, where there's lots of people that were at BIM who are singers who just went, I like the idea of doing PR, that's good. But everything needs to be to do with PR, and and writing and creativity towards the PR side to it. So that's, when I first started this channel, that was probably the first video that I ever did, I think, or the first 2 or 3 was, the most important thing is to know where it is you're going before you plan the route. Whenever I do a keynote to any musicians, whenever I do any talks at colleges or universities, the first bit of the entire talk, you need to know where you're going to plan the route. Otherwise, you'll fall into something that might not necessarily be what you want to do. And you can always change later, but knowing where you want to go is the strongest strategy to getting to where you want, to putting that strategy in place to getting where you want to go. So for me, what I would do is I know we've just had some holidays, but I would spend time just approaching lots and lots of music industry companies and just saying, what are the chances? And I literally ring them up or email them and just say, I can bring a lot to this. I'm hardworking. I won't be any trouble, but I need to learn more about the music industry. I'm following channels like this one so I can learn more about it. In 2, 3, 4 years time, I think I might be able to bring you a lot of value in your company. Would you be prepared to have me for 2 or 3 days? I won't be any trouble. I'll make my own way in. I'll make you tea. I'll do all the things you want to do. You can even just let me sit in the corner and watch. 5 of them will say no, and someone will go, Yeah, like me. If someone said that to me, I'd go, yeah, of course. Like, well, of course, you're not going to get in anyone's way. You might find it boring because the reality is off camera, there's a lot of admin because that's the music industry. And that's what you need to know because, you know, we deal next door, in the room just next door, with 30 bands. And out of those 30 bands, we'll deal with 1,500 gigs. So what goes on with those 1,500 gigs is everything from admin, paperwork, contracts, dep work. Oh, that guy can't do the gig. What are we going to do? We're going to have to get another dep. Okay. And, you know, all of those things are just day-to-day firefighting that happen. So, you know, people who think about the music industry think it's very exciting. Oh, we're going to get in the music industry and we're going to go and we'll be touring with this band and we'll be snorting coke off a hooker's ass. And I'm like, nope, nope. So part of that is understanding where you fit in. You know, and if you want to be a tour manager, or if you want to be a roadie, or if you want to be sat in an office, or if those are your skill sets, where do you fit into the music industry? The way you do that is you go and do a lot of research, a lot.
And do you think that as sort of Amara kind of hones in on that and figures out which route to get, that she probably doesn't need to worry as much about it being competitive? Because once you know and you work hard, it gets easier.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to achieve something in life, like I want to really achieve something, it's going to be competitive. If I want to really do something good, it doesn't matter whether it's in sport or whether it's in music or whether it's in sweet making. You know, if you just turn up and do a job and they just go, in your job, do this and go away again, then yeah, okay, maybe not so much. But you know, to actually have a career is competitive. And the music industry isn't. I mean, it is competitive, but it needs more good people. So there's a lot of people out there that just need to actually, who aren't doing this. If it's as competitive as all that, why do I not get people saying that when they're 16? I need to learn about the music industry. Can I come down and sit in your office for 3 days? And I'll go, you'll be fucking bored, but yes, you can. You know, there's not. So.
It's easy to stand out, I think, if you work hard enough.
I think so, yeah, I think so. So that's what I would do. I'd get in and I would actually research everything. This is the time to research. We are living in the most creative age that we've ever had. You can find out everything about companies online, on their Facebook, you know, via their social media. You can see if it's a fun company. You can see what sort of thing that they do on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, just go and learn it.